Hey, welcome to my channel where I teach the Bible. And this is the main message for the day for Monday, the 23rd of January, 2023. And I call this God Protects the Believer. And He does. Now, I hope that you'll subscribe to my channel where I teach the Bible. I put out at least 4 things every day. My daily devotions where I read with you what I go through in devotional reading every day. And a couple of short little quick, less than a minute videos, and then a main message for the day. This is my main message for the day. I hope you'll subscribe, hit the bell so you get notified every time I put something out, and make comments, give me thumbs up, help me get this out to more and more people. I want to teach the Bible to accomplish 2 things. Number 1, draw people to Christ. Number 2, develop a biblical worldview, which is in short supply on the planet today. And so let's look at what we're going to talk about. Back on January 28th, 2014, I had triple bypass surgery, and it had been scheduled for a little over a month. And you know what? You go into that, you go, man, this is going to hurt, fearful about it. And I prayed about it, and it happened to be scheduled. This is January 28th, 2014 is the day it was scheduled. My little sister had passed away on January 28th, 2012. And that the timing seemed to bother me. So there's a little bit of fear in there for that, and the fear about the pain that bothered me. And I think it was almost 6 weeks to sit around and worry about it, and that's not a good thing. And this is a time in my life when I spent 30 years in ministry, 1974 to 2005. I spent in full-time ministry. And then from 2005 to 2018, I sold Fords at Sanderson Ford in Glendale, Arizona. 2014, I was in my Ford sales phase of life. I never stopped following Jesus and teaching the Bible and being in the Word and being a Christ follower, but I made my living in those days selling Fords. It was a good gig, too. And so I went in and had the surgery, okay? And, my observation after having that surgery, number 1, it wasn't fun. I wouldn't want to have it again. And I just had heart tests and I'm doing great. Don't have to worry about it. But I did have some minor pain and confusion for about 3 days in the hospital. I was only in the hospital 3 days. I went home. I'd committed that thing to the Lord, and God was very good. And there was nothing to be afraid about. And I got over being afraid about dying. What if I die? Well, I just go to be with the Lord. I never lose my life, never lose my life. And then I went home, and I was at home for 5 weeks, recovering. There's a little bit of a pain in the neck. But I did a prayer drill, which is my way of approaching everything, and went through it a dozen times a day and went back to work after 5 weeks. Here's my observation. Things are never as bad as they seem to be. They're never as bad as you think they're going to be when you're thinking about them, I just had to take what's called some continuing education to renew my insurance license in California. And I was worried about, oh, no, it's a hassle. It's going to be terrible and all that kind of stuff. And you worry about what's coming up, right? So you know what I did? I signed up for it. And in one day, I had to take 24 hours of continuing education and pass the test. So I've been praying about it. And so this is what I did. I signed up for it, got it on my computer at work, and I scrolled through and just looked through the course outline and took the test and passed. So in less than a day, I was done with that nonsense. See, the things we fear are never as bad as we fear. Our fear is scary, but it's seldom accurate, okay? People look at the book of Revelation and they go, oh, all those terrible things that are going to happen in the book of Revelation. I'm scared to death. I don't want to be here for that. I'm not going to be able to deal with that. What about the affliction that comes of all the stuff that's described? Fear, Well, I want to read Revelation 9, 1 through 11, and hopefully this will calm your fears. It should. Now, there's terrible stuff that's going to happen, but listen to this. The 5th angel sounded his trumpet, and I saw a star that had fallen from the sky to the earth. The star was given the key to the shaft of the abyss, That's where Satan had been tossed. And when he opened the abyss, smoke rose from it like the smoke from a gigantic furnace. The sun and the sky were darkened by the smoke from the abyss. And out of the smoke, locusts came down upon the earth and were given power like that of a scorpion on the earth. They go, oh no, I'm scared of that. I don't want to deal with that kind of stuff, be stung by scorpions, be on the earth. But listen to verse 4. They were told not to harm the grass of the earth or any plant or tree, but only those, this is important, okay? But only those people who did not have the seal of God on their forehead. In other words, God's going to protect the folks who are his. The only people that get stung by those nasty critters are people who do not have the mark of God on their seal of God on their forehead. Okay? They were not given power to kill them, but only to torture them. And that means torture the other folks who don't have the seal of God on their head. They couldn't kill them. All they could do is torture them, which is sometimes worse than being killed. Okay? And the agony they suffered was like that of the sting of a scorpion when it strikes a man. During those days, men will seek death, but will not find it. They will long to die, but death will elude them. Bad stuff. They will be so miserable they'd rather be dead, okay? But who is protected from that? The Christ follower, because he has the seal of the Lord on his head. They can't do it to them. They can't sting him. The locusts looked like horses prepared for battle. On their heads they wore something like crowns of gold, and their faces resembled human faces. Their hair was like a woman's hair, and their teeth were like lion's teeth. They had breastplates like breastplates of iron, and the sound of their wings was like the thundering of many horses and chariots rushing into battle. Scary! But if you're marked for the Lord and sealed for the Lord, you're protected, okay? Scary, but you're protected, like I was protected in my heart surgery, and like I was protected taking a silly California continuing education test. Verse 10, they had tails and stings like scorpions, and in their tails they had the power to torment people for 5 months. You think, oh, I don't want to be tormented for 5 months. You won't. You're going to be protected. Okay. They had as king over them the angel of the abyss, whose name in Hebrew is Abaddon and in Greek is Apollyon, the destroyer. Okay, the destroyer, probably Satan, was the king over the little critters that sting you like a scorpion. And they hurt people, okay? But if you are sealed for Christ, no problemo. You're covered. You're not going to go through that stuff. So how do you get sealed for Christ, okay? You get on your knees and you surrender to Jesus Christ as Lord. It's a good idea to go out and be baptized, because when you're baptized, you're looking back at what Jesus did for you. He died for you on the cross, was buried, and was raised from the dead. Baptism is saying, I experienced with Jesus his death, burial, and resurrection, and I trust what he paid for me to save me. And I surrender to his lordship. Surrender to Jesus as Lord. You'll be sealed for God, protected, and God will take care of you. That protection guarantees that it will never be as bad as you think. Go there.